I'm trying to type the text I'm reading from. How are you? Yay! Learning and unlearning. Today I'm reading from Feminism Is. I haven't read this essay that I'm gonna read from, but hold on. I'm gonna. How are you? I'm gonna come. It's gonna pause just now. I'm good. Glad this week's episode is live. Woo! Do you hear the music? See, you inspiring me to actually like. Let me copy this and then it's gonna pause. Hold on. Okay. I'm so glad. Palo, hi. Okay, I wanted to. Okay, pinned. Today I'm reading from Feminism Is. Let me give you the cover. Do you like the music? Thank you. It's inspired by my sister friend, Sarah, aka Books and Rhymes Queen. So I'm reading from this as per every Tuesday. We read from feminist texts. We've been reading from Living While Feminist. You can even follow the Instagram page. It's Living While Feminist. So it's for both books. So Jen Thorpe or her team created this Instagram page where you can get some quotes from these and any texts from this. So yeah, hold on. Let me just. Now we gotta focus. Gotta focus. Okay. Hey Palo. Palo says glow. You must drink tea and wine while you read your books to ensure a good glow. How are you guys? I'm having such a slow week. I just got into my book of the end of the month, which is Bomboy. I'm getting into it. But we discussing it on the group as well. We have a reading group, and that is very encouraging. Actually, I don't know what I've been doing with my entire reading life. Not doing reading groups and being interactive with the group and like talking to other people who read. But yeah, this has been a time where I've been encouraged a lot. So I'm grateful somehow for this period, even though not everybody is grateful for lockdown. I mean, we miss the spaces that we used to occupy, these events and book launches and book discussions, but I guess we'll have to just do with the virtual world, right? Because it is what it is. I don't know about the wine, but tea, yeah. Yes, of course. Whatever you fancy, whether it's tea or wine or coffee. Yeah. So today I'm reading from this. And then, hi everybody. I'm going to read the back of the book, and then as per usual, I'll read the author whose essay I'm reading from. I'll read her bio, and then I'll start with the text. So, feminism is about power, potential, passion, and rights, but it keeps changing in purpose and meaning. And this book asks the question, do you call yourself a feminist? What does this mean in your daily life? In this book, South African feminists explore their often vastly different experiences and perspectives in accessible and engaging voices. Feminism touches on issues as wide-ranging as motherhood, anger, sex, race, inclusions and exclusions, the noisy protest and the quiet struggle. It will challenge your thinking and inspire you to action, reaffirming the urgent necessity of feminism in South Africa today. And Lauren Beekers says about Feminism Is, it's fierce, incisive, compassionate, and thoughtful. This is an essential collection of diverse voices. I love the fact that there's a lot of diverse voices in both the Feminism Is, Living While Feminist books. And Loveland Nwadei says, sometimes painfully relatable, other times outrageously hilarious. Every page is sprinkled with vulnerability. Yeah, and I actually like the fact that a portion of the sales from these books goes to Rape Crisis Cape Town. And so I will be reading from Thembe Mahlaba's Feminism is Learning and Unlearning. And remember, the reason why I decided to make Tuesdays Feminism Text Tuesdays was because I wanted myself to learn and unlearn. And I figured these two books were like the key points for that. And at the back of the book, actually, there is a glossary of words, terminology, if you don't understand. So it says here, if you're new to feminism, some of the terminology can be a bit daunting. Here are some terms you'll encounter in this collection, as well as some that are useful to understand when talking about feminism. And it explains everything. There's like 3 pages of terminology that we all gotta, learn. But let me go on to Thembe Mahlaba's bio. Thembe Mahlaba was born in 1993 and is the eldest of 3 Durban women. She moved to Cape Town to do her tertiary education and hasn't looked back since. She enjoys the art of creating and she holds an honors degree in directing. She is working towards becoming a filmmaker specializing in drama and crime fiction. Pop Culture, spelled P-A-P Culture, a YouTube channel she runs with Bongeka Masango and Nwabisa Mda, has been her main focus for the past year. You can follow her on Twitter at _Thembe, spelled Thembe. So I wanted to check which year. Oh, okay, so this is 2017. I think it was published 2018. Yeah, 2018. So she's been busy with pop culture. So here goes. Feminism is learning and unlearning. Feminism is, most days, I don't know. I think my personal feminism journey is a battle with myself about what I know and don't. I have never mentioned or named myself a feminist, but with the work that we do with pop culture, articles and write-ups have often labeled us as such. Maybe it's because we are 3 Black women who are trying to contribute to the movement's narrative through the work, initiatives, and values we hold. But do we need to claim the name and say that we are feminists in order for us to be part of the conversation? Do I even fully know what it stands for in my life and in others? Does it matter? Why haven't we claimed the name? Short answer, I don't know. Am I scared to claim the name or noun? Short answer, yes. Mostly because I don't trust myself to carry it well enough, as I have seen the likes of Dr. Tlaleng and Rihanna do. I kind of think these people have figured it out. They can eloquently get out their points on... Sorry, I just received a call. Sorry, guys. I kind of think these people have figured it out. They can eloquently get out their points on what they think of women's issues and not put a foot wrong. Well, I'm scared that I don't. I'm gonna put my foot all the way down my throat because I'm still trying to get these 140 characters to make sense in this tweet. I'm still trying to unlearn ways of being and thoughts that would probably constitute a feminist crime. At the same time, I'm also learning more about myself through feminism. Rihanna is my favorite kind of feminist figure, just ruthlessly being herself, even in the most vulnerable and scrutinized global position she is in. Rihanna, in a see-through Swarovski crystal dress, asked the women reporter, "Do my tits bother you?" They're covered in Swarovski crystals, girl. I mean, she, for me, doesn't need to use the jargon often included in feminism discussions for us to understand that she stands for the complete ownership and control of her body. So I think we all have a feminist voice, and I'm still trying to find mine. I think there is also a safety in saying that you are still unlearning and learning. The safety that you might not immediately have when you start questioning the territories of your home, the ways you were brought up, and the relationships you have. That's often a scary step. That I must now think about the fact that I might need to have a conversation with my dad about the time he jokingly said that when they retire to their farm in Mzimkulu, they would leave the house to me, as I would not get married. But my brother would have to branch out and start his family somewhere else. That he has mentioned that he is ready to be a grandfather while only speaking about my brother having offspring. Mind you, I am the eldest of the three of us. Our parents are problematic though. Like, fear creeps up again when I think that being someone who has classified themselves as part of a movement or organization or way of thinking makes it sound like you must be bound by its limitations. And I often feel that way when I see Twitter altercations in which someone is being reminded of a way of being that they once were. If a person understands how their thoughts or actions from previous years were wrong and have better educated themselves of these issues, are they not allowed to associate themselves with a new way of thought because of their past transgressions? I'm not talking about crime here. I'm talking person A makes a remark about women. 5 years go by. In a series of tweets that exhibit new ways of thought, person A clearly shows they are contradicting what they said before. My question is, does this person not get to change their mind? Do they have to announce that they have changed their mind or bettered their thinking? Is there an opportunity for immunity, or is it game over for them? I'm just trying to understand. This probably might not make sense, but I'm getting it together slowly but surely. I just asked to think out loud on this one and not have an academic opinion because, quite frankly, my dear, I'm not ready to. No one will be holding my hand through this journey. I just need to decipher it for myself and mark out where I stand. So, that was Feminism is Learning and Unlearning. Somehow when I was reading this, I actually had Rashi says you read beautifully. Thank you. Hey, Ansi. Thank you so much. When I was reading this, I actually remembered that I think I've read this before, although I didn't, or I might not have probably marked it in here, but I would have read it maybe when I wasn't recording to actually have the videos on YouTube. So it felt like deja vu while I was reading it. But yeah, I still have like 10 more minutes, so I am gonna go on to another. So this book is actually sectioned. So what I've just read from comes from inclusions and exclusions, and there's inspiration, and there's inclusions and exclusions, and then conversations, and power and fury, and in practice. So I'm going to be reading from page 235, which is My Feminism is About Learning to Live with Life's Contradictions. Oh, by Tlaleng Mofokeng, Dr. Tlaleng Mofokeng, actually. So that will be on 235. Oh, I actually have this as a bookmark. This is what the Living While Feminist book came wrapped in. So they have like a poster of all their contributors written on. How cool is that? Yes. So 235. Okay. Oh, and it's signed. I forgot about that. Oh, that is Dr. Tlaleng says I'm a yummy mommy. Okay, so the truth in this, do we regard women who are in powerful positions and we look up to and work as hard to get there, then they are the very ones killing potential of the younger females coming up? Yeah, like I know I've actually listened in on a conversation where someone asked that same question about how you regard them as feminist but regard them as inspiration, then they disappoint. Yeah, human beings, they guys, yes. And prestige underscore star. I want to actually see your I'm sorry for pausing. I just want to see Nonzizi. Hi, Nonzizi. Okay, so Nonzizi is the one who's making the comment. The truth in this, do we regard women who are in powerful positions and we look up to and work as hard to get there, then they are the very ones killing potential of the younger females coming up. Regard them as feminist, but regard them as inspiration, then they disappoint you. We this discussion, ne? Yo. It takes me back to a conversation that was between a book club, Literary Alliance, who had brought on Sihle, who is the author of We Are the Ones We Need, and obviously her journey. We were talking about her journey and how women are always the ones who actually just end up bringing down women in corporate South Africa and in corporate anywhere, which is really, really quite sad. Yeah, very, very sad. I want to read, sure, it's very long. I thought it was short. But yeah, I'm just going to read a little bit of it because I normally end at past, but let's see. My feminism is about learning to live with life's contradictions. So this is actually probably going to be very nice from the one that we just read, which was inclusions and exclusions. But yeah. And Dr. Tlaleng says, during family medicine lectures in medical school, we were taught the principles of medicine. One of these shaped who I am and informed the career decisions that I have made as a doctor. This was the principle that highlights and takes seriously the subjective aspects of medicine. For many years, medicine has been driven by a paternalistic approach to health problems. The profession treats patients in a patriarchal and all-knowing manner. I experienced this firsthand as I watched how, very often, Doctors took decisions on behalf of the people they treated and gave little information, or sometimes poor information, on the disease process and what medications needed to be taken to treat the illness. There was no effort to explain or share knowledge. As a student doctor, I was fascinated by how many more women than men filled hospital wards and local clinics. Many of my lecturers spoke in passing about the difference in numbers between men and women, and how men often presented late for health checkups because they disliked doctors' visits. I didn't believe this explanation was sufficient. I was not convinced that women filled clinics because we were less bothered by doctors. In fact, so many doctors are sexist and racist that the common experience of a black woman within the health system was far from rosy. To this day, many women tell horrific stories of what they have endured just trying to get medical help. As a young student, I believed that there were important underlying factors or issues that affected women's health and impacted women differently, making us constantly sick. The quest to answer the question of why women get sick has stayed with me ever since. I love Dr. Tlaleng, guys. You don't understand. Like, love Dr. T. Look. The book. Nonzizi says, need this book. Yes, you do. Oh. This book and this book. They are both, yeah. She goes on to say, I've been greatly inspired along the way and have come to appreciate that sensitivity to feelings and relationships, not just to the symptoms of disease, can have a positive impact on the patient's ability to make informed decisions and to understand the context of their illnesses. Some of our challenges as Black women in South Africa include physical violence, rape, obstetric violence, reproductive coercion. Oh my goodness, like interracial gender oppression, silencing, and erasure. Our discrimination overlaps and intersects, and for Black women more so than white women, the struggle for equality is not just an economic one, but remains a racial and gender struggle. Girl children, young women, and adult women are fighting to end injustice based on our gender, and this is a daily battle that none of us can switch off from. The battle is in our homes, in the streets, in public spaces, in corporate spaces, at church. And I just remembered another essay that is in Living While Feminist, Our Bodies, Our Truths, under institutions, is Anelele Kibikako's Feminism in the Church, the Teachings and the Unlearning. Hey, like these books, ne? Get them. They make you think. They make you see the world for how it is, like how women are treated unfairly, and it continues. It doesn't stop. We never catch a break. At church, in taxi ranks, at institutions of higher learning, in workspaces everywhere, we are fearful of sexual harassment, violence, and rape even as we sleep. I wholeheartedly hold the fundamental view that in fact women are born empowered and equal. Feminism and striving for equal rights for women only makes sense to me if we interrogate the conditions that disempower women, and in particular ask why Black women are still at the very bottom of social and political structures worldwide despite feminism's existence. My life experiences, I actually need to remove. I'm not reading. I just finished reading from the pinned title. And it says, And I believe the female doctors fall victim part of this because they are they're in a way oppressed. Yeah, yeah, right? That's true. But thank God for liberation. That's what Nonsi is saying. Yes, thank God for liberation. I mean, phew, guys, it's a lot. It's a lot. So, let me continue reading for about 5 more minutes. I'm not reading, for those who just joined in, I'm not reading anymore from Feminism is Learning and Unlearning. I'm continuing reading another essay by Dr. Tlaleng Mofokeng, which is also in Feminism Is. South Africans Speak Their Truth. Yes. So, my life experiences have molded my personal vision for the kind of world I want to live in, and I have dedicated my time and expertise to creating that world. My story is one of some privilege growing up. However, despite my middle class existence, race and gender issues remained glaring obstacles in every aspect of my life. As a young girl who read a lot of books, it was almost natural to go through a phase of becoming interested in politics and to find feminism. For many years, at least a decade, I thought I had found an ideological home in feminism. This was only because there was nothing else that resembled a united, organized movement that systematically dealt with the issues that affect Black women. Now I have learned to forgive myself for ever thinking that feminism was the complete answer to my struggles as a Black woman. My work as an advocate for reproductive justice has brought me into non-governmental organization spaces and has exposed me to all kinds of women from all walks of life. Many of them have really admirable credentials. The common thread among us is, of course, feminism, and it appears that we are all women united in the fight for justice and equality. However, I have noticed that when these spaces are predominantly occupied by white women, prevailing race and class inequalities persist. Even in feminist spaces, Black women remain the perpetual help, mobilizers of the masses, but not seated at the decision-making table, as though finding proposals still require a white face to be successful. White women act as gatekeepers and are assumed to be the faces of dependability and authority, and many funders and donors look at them as a measure of credibility when determining whether or not organizations get grants. So, as a Black woman and a feminist, I find myself navigating the very same oppression I experienced at the hands of men, but now also from the very comrades with whom I am meant to be fighting injustice. This default hierarchical, dare I say oppressive mode that many white women adopt in the way they view and engage Black women is problematic. Yet not many white feminists are willing to go down this road and have these discussions openly without pulling rank or getting defensive. For me, the hashtag Fees Must Fall protests indicate this disparity of experience clearly. In 2015, during the student protests, I witnessed Black women being harassed and sexually assaulted by security personnel, but also by their own peers with whom they were demonstrating. Many of these survivors were denied immediate post-trauma care, while at the same time, their white counterparts were giving interviews about how the hashtag Fees Must Fall movement was delaying their graduation. To me, it seemed as though white women were protected from this violence. This revitalized my questioning of the nature of feminism and forced me to consider whether Black women really were in the same battle as white women. By 2016, I knew this was the case. When the Feast Must Fall movement escalated and there was a clear and saddening lack of mass support from white women, when confronted with this battle, white women chose to align with their class and race privilege, and black women's fight for free tertiary education became an inconvenience. This led me to question the very ideology of feminism that was supposed to be for all women. It is so obvious that we do not share much beyond gender issues. White women's class and race privilege is a blind spot of sorts, and because of this lack of intersectional solidarity, women are divided. White women often focus on their own struggles at the expense of supporting other women's efforts to fight inequality, racism, and patriarchy. I've yet to see organized groups of white women feminists demonstrate against the brutal rape and murders of black lesbian women. Even the media protests and affords white women dignity in death, yet black bodies are not given the same respect. Even the media protects and affords white women dignity in death, yet black bodies are not given the same respect. A classic example is how on the front pages of newspapers we see dead black people lying in the roads, often in rigor mortis at crime scenes. This is in contrast to how images of Riva Steenkamp's body were embargoed by the media because they were sensitive to her family's wishes. A black child rape survivor from Pretoria was broadcast to the world in a Sky News documentary named and her face shown. During some Fees Must Fall marches, black women protested by baring their breasts in an effort to try to stop the police shootings. Yet, fast forward to the post-election women's marches in the USA, where white women were clearly at no risk from the police. I believe this is because black bodies are not afforded benefit of the doubt. I struggle with most women empowerment programs out there because I am too frequently surprised at the lack of focus on fixing or even naming the issues that make women powerless in the first place. The term women's empowerment has become so common, particularly in government narratives, that it has become a rubber stamp for inclusivity, a post-apartheid slogan with very little real meaning. Frankly, I see it as people trying to tick the gender box in concept notes, government campaigns and strategies, funding proposals, community engagement, and so on, without ever really having to engage with what it truly means to empower women. Women who occupy seats in parliament have spent more time defending patriarchy than they have spent unapologetically advancing gender-sensitive policies and laws, or holding ministries accountable for the impact of programs that are meant to empower women. When you have women in healthcare who are abusers of other women in delivery rooms, when nursing staff chase away young women from clinics and deny them their right to condoms and contraception, this is not empowerment. When researchers and funders refer to black women as our women in the same patriarchal manner that black men refer to us as their women when complaining about South African women marrying foreign men, that is not empowerment. At the International's AIDS conferences held in Durban, South Africa in June 2016, I attended many sessions, some on research findings, others with world bodies, roundtables and more. It struck me how there seemed to be a hierarchy, often mimicking patriarchy, even within these supposedly progressive spaces. Rural black women, often poor, were not seen as peers but as subjects for our research. It's as though the master is different in form, but oppressed we remain. Sure. It is often the liberals and so-called allies, or is it allies or allies? allies that do a lot of harm to marginalized groups and individuals. The microaggressions often go unchecked because they come from supposed allies. Over the years, it has become more apparent that everyone needs to engage and be aware of their own privilege. It is mandatory for us in the activist feminist space to continuously check ourselves so as not to silence certain voices and elevate others. This is why I am a fallist. I am aware of intersectional oppression and believe that all oppression must fall, even oppression at the hands of fellow feminists. That was from Dr. Tlaleng's essay. And Dr. Tlaleng is a vice chairperson of the Sexual and Reproductive Justice Coalition and founder of Nalani Associates. She works to leverage the synergy between communications and advocacy for reproductive justice. She runs a women's clinic in Sandton, and you can follow her on Instagram and Twitter at Dr. Tlaleng. And her book, Dr. T's Guide to Sexual Health and Pleasure, is on Instagram as well, as at Dr. T Sex Book. Yeah. You can read more on that and get yourself that book. I can't take it out now. Oh God, no. But yeah, that was today's feminist text reading. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it made you think. Yeah, I learn every time I open this book. These two books. I need to make time and read more of this. But that was today's reading, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys on Wednesday for the Gerald Kruk anthology readings, which is on Wednesdays. I read from the 3 volumes that make up the Gerald Kruk anthology, which is I hope you can see this. African perspectives on gender, social justice, and sexuality. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, such a touching subject, right? Oh, guys, feminism, ne? We have to learn, guys. We have to read. We have to read wide and widely and everything, so that we're able to engage with our community. But yes, that was it for today. Thank you for joining me. I will see you guys on hold on, I just want to see something. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Thank you, Rashi. Thank you. Who's here? Thank you, Carrizo. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I'll talk about my book haul. Oh my gosh, guys. I need to stop buying books. I'm still waiting for more. Bargain Books is doing the things with all the book sales. All the books that are like $70. 70 rand. I need a break from my swiping my card. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. Thank you.